Operation Lüttich is the codename for the German counteroffensive during Operation Overlord, which took place near American positions near Mortain from August 7 to 13. This offensive is referred to in English and American historiography as the Mortain counteroffensive. The order to commence the operation was given by Adolf Hitler with the aim of countering the successes achieved by the First Army of the United States during Operation Cobra and in the following weeks. Hitler tasked the German forces with breaking through to the Atlantic coast near Avranches and approaching the Cotentin Peninsula, as well as cutting off parts of the Third Army of the United States that had reached Brittany. The main striking force of the Germans was the XLVII Panzer Corps, consisting of 2 SS tank divisions and 2 Wehrmacht tank divisions. Although they achieved some success in the initial phase against the VII Corps of the US, they were soon stopped, and Allied air forces inflicted heavy losses on the advancing troops, ultimately destroying about half of the tanks that participated in the offensive. Despite the fact that the battle near Mortain lasted about 6 days, the Americans regained the initiative on the very first day of the counteroffensive. The chances of success for this operation were slim due to the lack of strength on the part of the Germans and especially because of the overwhelming superiority of Allied aviation in the air. The shortage of armored reserves led to disaster. The Allies bypassed the strike group from the south, and the front to the east of it collapsed, resulting in many German units in Normandy being trapped. On July 25, 1944, 6 weeks after the landing of Allied forces in Normandy, American troops under the command of Omar Bradley began an offensive codenamed Operation Cobra, which broke through the German defenses near St. Lo. Almost the entire western part of the German front in Normandy collapsed, and by August 1, the Americans had captured Avranches. After taking the city and seizing an intact bridge in Pont Orson, the Allies turned the corner. Due to a lack of forces, the stretched German front could no longer fortify itself along the sea at its western ends, and American troops were able to advance westward and southward into Brittany. On the same day, the Third Army of the United States under the command of George Patton began its offensive. Despite the German air attacks on the bridge at Pontobo, Patton crossed over at least 7 divisions in 3 days, and parts of his army began advancing on the ports of Brittany, encountering almost no resistance. On July 30, the 2nd British Army launched an offensive codenamed Bluecoat on the eastern flank of American troops. Most of the German tank reserves were being moved to the west to stop the American breakthrough. Meanwhile, the U.S. armies continued their attacks to expand the corridor near Avranches. Although the Germans retained vital junctions at Vire on August 3, the American 7 Corps under the command of Lieutenant General J. Lawton Collins captured Mortain, 31 kilometers east of Avranches. The next day, despite the fact that the 7 Corps was continuing to advance westward into Brittany towards the ports of Brest and Lorient, Bradley ordered Patton to head east with the main forces of the Third Army to breach the German flank and enter into enemy territory. The 15 Corps of the United States advanced 121 kilometers over 3 days, and by August 7, they approached Le Mans, the former location of the headquarters of the German 7th Army and an important transportation center.